For many years I've been using mechanical pumps like this one. This is quite a small Topeak race rocket, and overall I found it excellent. However, as I've moved to larger volume tyres, using mini pumps like this become more of a problem. So I decided to give in to the continuous march of technological development and buy an electric mini pump. Although I got this mini pump through Aliexpress, I decided not to go for the cheapest one that I could find, and that's because this has some features that cheaper ones don't actually have, and I'll go through some of those features later. As you can see, I've opened this before. There's the pump. There's a little bag for putting the pump in, and there's a bag of bits and an instruction manual. What's in this bag of bits? We have a small extension lead, USB-C charging cable, a thing, I think, for pumping up footballs, and two valve fittings, one for ThinkRideR here in white, and one for pressed valves in red. And there's the pump. Oh, it comes with a lanyard, which could be useful. As you can see, this pump has a little screen on it, and you can adjust the pressure to a specific value, and then it should turn off. I'll demonstrate that in a minute. It's manufactured by a company called ThinkRideR, although it looks like they've probably got dyslexia. Oh, that didn't help. So you turn it on using this button, press and hold, and as you can see, the screen comes on. I particularly like this one because it's actually quite a large clear screen, and there's several pieces of information on here. In the top right there's a battery level indicator. There's an indication of what the measurement units are. This is set at PSI. This green 50 is the pressure that it's set to, so that's the pressure the pump will try to achieve, and the large white figure is the pressure that the pump is currently producing. I can screw this extension onto the bottom there if I want to, or I can just put the valve adapter straight onto the pump, which I think I will do here. So the ergonomics of the screen are quite nice, and I can change the target pressure by using these up and down arrows. Right, an interesting little function is it has a little light, and if I press this button quickly 3 times, the light comes on. It's not a very good light, but it's probably better than nothing. I'll leave this to fully charge, and then I'll see how many times I can pump up my Turbo Vado tyres, which are quite large, 27.5 by 2.25 wide, from 0 to 30 psi. The specification on this says it will pump tyres up to 120 psi. That's much higher than I actually want to pump tyres up. But I may try it on some narrower tyres just to see how well it works on those, although I'm unlikely to go anywhere near 120 psi, probably around about 80.
The unit takes about 2 hours to charge from 0 to 100%.
So I've let the tyre down. Here's a stopwatch so we can time how long it takes to pump up. And I've got this set to 30 psi. So if I put that onto there and now press start on the timer and the pump. I can hear it's very noisy. As you can hear, it's very noisy. You can see this is quite a big tyre. And that's why so far it's taken almost a minute to pump up, and it's still only at 20 psi. There we are. It took around about, well, just short of 2 minutes to pump this tyre up from 0 to 30 psi. That's a lot quicker than it would have taken had I used my mini pump. I'm going to let this down now and see how many more times I can pump this tyre up. Okay, that's the second pump up. Okay, that's the third inflation of this tyre from 0 to 30 psi. And the battery indicator on here is now showing red. So it's suggesting this is empty. Never mind, I'm going to try again to see whether it will inflate a fourth time. Although the battery indicator is showing red, it's still pumping. But will it get up to the full 30 psi before it cuts out? That's it, it cut out at 9 psi and it's turned itself off. So this pump will pump this large volume tyre up from 0 to 30 psi 3 and a bit times. I'll try this on a smaller volume tyre, but I'll take it to a higher pressure. But first I need to charge this pump up. Some of these pumps can get quite warm when they're being used, and although this one is heating up, it certainly can be touched without too much problem. So now I'm going to pump up this tyre, which is a 700C by 32mm wide, to an indicated 80 psi. This is the second inflation. So this is the third inflation, and the battery indicator has just turned red. So whether it will get to full pressure, I don't know or not. That's it. Oh, it says it's hot and it's stopped. So I'll wait for it to cool down and see whether it will carry on. Okay, it's been several minutes. I turned it off and then turned it back on, and now the hot indicator has gone off. So I'm going to try and re-inflate this tyre, see whether it will go up to the full pressure for the third time. Not quite, it's just cut out. So it inflated this 32mm, actually when I measured it it's only 30mm wide tyre, just under 3 times before the battery was exhausted. I've pumped this up to 30 psi on here. I'm going to check with my Schwalbe tyre pressure gauge just how accurate this pump could be. It says exactly 30 psi. That's it, it's gone up to an indicated 80 psi. I'll just test the pressure using my Schwalbe gauge, 79.4 psi. So it's looking like the indicated pressure on here is actually quite accurate. So what's my opinion of this ThinkRideR electric mini pump? Well, first of all, it comes with some nice accessories. For instance, it was fitted with this lanyard, which means you're less likely to drop it or lose it. A small pouch for carrying it in. This extension hose and adapters for both Strider and Presta valves. Overall, the unit is a little larger than some competing units, but it's not unduly large. It'll still fit into a back pocket or into your bicycle toolkit. The extra size is probably there because it has some features that other competing mini pumps don't have. For instance, it has both this control panel, which is quite large and easy to use, and also the display, which is very clear. And the display is nice because you can set both the target pressure, currently here at 91 psi, and you can see the pressure that the pump is currently achieving. And when the achieved pressure reaches the target pressure, the pump turns off, and that means you're unlikely to overinflate your tyre. I've also found that the pressure registered on here is actually very close to that my Schwalbe pressure gauge gives me. Therefore, I've got confidence that the pressure gauge in here is quite accurate. As you saw from the test, it also has an auto power off function, and that's either when the battery is out or if it overheats. Another feature that many of these pumps don't have is this little LED light. Now, it's not very powerful. I'm not sure how useful it will be, but it's nice to know that it's there. It's good that you can change the pressure reading from PSI to bar, and it would be nice if you could have alternative pressure units as well, but with PSI and bar I'm happy. What are the downsides of this mini pump? Well, first of all, because of those extra features, it's a little larger than some other competing electric pumps, but as I said, it's not excessively large.
In reality, it's no more space hungry than my mini pump.
The other thing about this pump is, in comparison to other pumps that I've heard working, this one is actually quite loud. Excessively loud? Well, I wouldn't want to use it in a library, but when you're out on the road, does that really matter? Probably not. As for reliability, I can't tell. It seems to be quite nicely made, and I have no reason to believe it won't be reliable. However, I will continue to carry a manual mini pump as well as this pump, just in case it fails. As I've shown, this unit will inflate a tyre around about 3 times, and you have to ask yourself, will the ability to inflate a tyre just 3 times be enough? I would say on a day ride you'd have to be very unlucky to need all 3 inflations. However, on multi-day rides it may not be enough to quell your anxiety. Only you can decide if 3 inflations is enough. For me, I can charge this from my e-bike battery, so I will be taking it on my up-and-coming multi-week tour. I will be making some videos about that, so consider subscribing if you want to see those. However, I will be taking a normal manual pump as well. That's because the reliability of this e-pump is unknown, and also I'm a belt and braces sort of guy. This electric pump costs me just under £25, and that includes taxes and delivery. Now, that's not too different to a high-end manual mini pump. Based on the cost and the features in this pump, I'm pretty happy with it. However, if you've got any experience of using this pump or other pumps and you want to let me know your views, leave them in the comments section. Finally, if you found this review useful, please give the video a thumbs up, and for future reviews and for other stuff about cycling, consider subscribing. From me, until that next video, it's goodbye.